sometimes to think a lot about one aspect of the movement. And for most, I would say it's the very obvious movement. It might be the blocking arm going out, if it's doing the block, or it might be your reverse punch hand going out. So people tend to be really, really mindful of that action. But that's only one of a very integrated total body action. And another way to approach it is kind of coming in through around the back way. Think about the thing that you might normally give your least amount of attention to, and just meditate on that part of it. Like that's a totally different way of looking at the technique, and actually say, well, what is the least most thing I might pay attention to? Okay? I mean, hikite is somewhere in the not paying too much attention to for a lot of us, what we're saying. But there are other things, it's like, is my foot this way or is my foot that way? I think about those funny little things that you might not even give any consideration to. Do you understand? So I think one way is like, of course, this is just a long practice. At some point you get tired of thinking about the foot. You say, well, how can I shore up my technique in a different, like how can I look at it differently? And then you start, going back to things you wouldn't normally consider. But I think definitely this sort of flat feeling in my body, whenever I'm in any of the stance, other than a kumite dachi is different. This is a little more kind of like you're waiting at the baseline for the ball to come across. So you're very light on your feet and that kind of feeling. But once you assume these kamais where you're actually anchoring a technique, I feel like everything should be really, really flat. So yeah, for me, that is not as flat as that. I like the super flat feeling. Because that flat, relaxed feeling of my foot almost getting soggy against the floor is the same underneath my body feeling in my stance has that same thing too. Like if I hold tension in my stance like this, it doesn't feel like my center is low. But if I kind of like settle into it, my center feels really low. Tai Chi guys will talk a lot about that. A lot of karate people maybe don't have so much that kind of a conversation. So that feeling in your disposition there. I kind of try to put as much of my foot on the ground as possible. So I'm almost trying to think right down the center line of my foot. If I do that, then I'm more inclined to get say this left side of my foot flat and the right side of my foot flat. Yoga people will talk about, Tai Chi people talk about it where, you think of these different points on your foot, and when you're stepping, you want all those points to, I think we've had this conversation before, you want all those points to be contacting sort of with a certain equality. But a lot of times, people will be in stances, for example, I think maybe like kibadachi, people will be in stances and they'll push really hard on their knees, and then they start to lose the contact with the inside of their foot. So when I'm thinking kibadachi, I'm not really thinking outward here. I'm thinking from here down, it's down. Like this is down, like all of my foot is flat. Then I don't create this extreme shape in the bend of my knees. I want to create more of a consistent arc so that no one part of my leg is accepting too much of the tension as opposed to the next. And I think longevity of practice, this might not really even be good on your knees to do that. And you see like old school guys, and we all did it at one point, that really deep kibadachi was sort of the aesthetic a lot of people were working for, but I think that's not good for your body. You want to have kibadachi, I think, should be about 2 shoulders widths. This should feel edges of the feet straight. You should feel as much, everyone just try it, just kind of do this while I'm talking, maybe you'll feel that a little bit. All of my foot, do this right now, before you impose any pressure in your legs, see if you can get as much of your foot surface on the ground. Grab with your toes, but when you grab with your toes, try not to cup your foot. Try to still keep your foot flat and then grab. So I'm not doing that, my foot is flat and then I'm grabbing. So I have this downward in the middle of my foot and then the grab at the end. See if you can feel that. And then at that point, I'm pinning my feet straight down. Then I create a little pressure out. Yeah. One of the things also, I would say is when I feel, and of course, my stance sometimes feels really great, sometimes it doesn't feel really great. I'm still journeying just like everybody else. So the times it feels really great for me though, is when I feel like my stance is really connected to my center, like my body has a certain unity and solidification in its shape. If I don't have that, you kind of get, and you'll see it, you watch other people, I would offer you guys to do that. Take a look at other people and watch them, and you'll see people will be in stances, but you see there's a leg shape and then there's a body shape, and they're not really fully integrated. Do you understand? There's a leg shape and there's a body shape, but there's not this connection to your center. So I think everything is making a connection to your center. So say I'm punching, like this shoulder is pulling down, connecting to my center. My hikite side is pulling down. So it's like, imagine that your center is a spindle and you have cords that go out into all parts of your extremities. And when you anchor a position, you're kind of rotating on that spindle, connecting things to your center. Can you picture that a little bit? So your stance should kind of have that feeling of connectedness to the center. This doesn't have connectedness to the center. Looks like karate, but it isn't karate. This, for some, might not really look like karate, but I think is karate. Okay?